Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Looli News for Tuesday, December 30th. Today is day 2 of Habit Week. We are having Healthy Habit Week here at the Looli News, where we are going over one habit each day. Today, we're going to be talking about feelings and the nervous system, which I think is one of the most underrated healthy habits that we can get into. If you missed day 1, that was on meal planning. You can go ahead and listen to that on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We will link to that in the description. So we are going to go over nervous system today. And what I'm going to talk about is a lot of different stats, facts, and recommendations for the nervous system and our feelings. Then each day, we also have a corresponding workshop and worksheets in the Facebook group. So we will link to that as well. So give this a listen. Join us in the Facebook group. We have printable worksheets here. This is one of the ones we are going to be going over today. So we have those available for you as well. But let's go ahead and get into the nervous system, because I think some of what we're going to talk about might be kind of eye-opening for a lot of people. So globally, 41% of adults report experiencing a lot of stress on a daily basis. I feel like that's not shocking, right? 49 to 53% report significant stress each day, and upwards of 75% of Americans experience physical or emotional symptoms related to stress. Okay. Now, chronic stress, which I would argue a lot of us are living in this phase of chronic stress. And when we think about stress, it's not just like, oh, I'm like so nervous or anxious over a specific thing. It is a lot of times this heightened awareness that we are living in. And this can really disrupt the body's stress response, including the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, the HPA axis, and the autonomic nervous system, leading to persistent activation of stress pathways. And that is what a lot of people refer to as nervous system dysregulation. Like we said, it's kind of that heightened stress. And it doesn't even have to be this like spurts. A lot of times I almost kind of envision it or describe it as like a low level humming of stress, right? I think a lot of us can relate to that. Essentially, this kind of keeps us in that like fight or flight mode, and that can influence our habits and behaviors on a daily basis. And research on stress and neural circuitry shows that stress can bias cognitive processes towards habitual or emotional eating. It can increase appetite through cortisol and other hormones. It can reduce executive control over different decisions that we make, whether it's food, whether it's the habits or behaviors that we are doing. So in other words, when our kind of like stress system, our stress response network, when it's activated, people are more likely to default to energy-dense comfort foods. Think, I have some of those, Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes because it's right around the holidays right now in my pantry. Things that are quick energy, that are comforting, and that are energy-dense, we're going to be drawn to, because when we are in that state of fight or flight, our body's like, I need energy. It doesn't understand that we're stressed from an email and not a mountain lion, right? So really working to calm that nervous system is going to lead to a lot of different benefits. It also impacts, I thought this was interesting, our energy and motivation for movement. So when the body is dominated by the sympathetic nervous system activity, it can be harder to feel motivated. That's kind of that fight or flight phase. It can feel harder to be motivated to exercise. It can be harder for our bodies to recover from workouts. If you're trying to gain strength or improve flexibility, it's going to hinder to those goals. And it can also be really difficult to just maintain consistency with our exercise routines. Practices such like gentle movement, breath work, rest transitions activate the parasympathetic nervous system, that more rest and digest, combating the stress response, supporting recovery, and making movement easier. So we're going to talk about in our workshop portion today more of how do we implement some of these things to allow our nervous system to calm down. And I'm going to tell you what, it is simple. It takes just minutes a day. This is not something that and I think that's like such the beauty of this. It's such an impactful thing we can do, yet it's so easy to implement, which we'll be going over in the workshop. Now, a regulated nervous system also enhances the prefrontal cortex, activity of the brain. So I thought this was really interesting. This governs our planning, our decision making, our self control. So chronic stress shifts behaviors towards more primitive survival circuits. So, this can manifest as impulsive decisions, avoidance of healthy behaviors, and difficulty sustaining long term goals. So, by calming and regulating our physiological stress response, like I said, that a lot of us are kind of might not even be aware that we're experiencing, the nervous system is going to be able to support thoughtful and aligned choices. So, if you are focusing on making healthy habits in 2026, having a piece of that nervous system regulation is going to make that so much easier to do. Finding a way to really combat our chronic stress actually alters the neural pathways involved in emotion, reward, and executive control. So I hope by the end of listening to this, you're like, okay, so I think I need to focus on my nervous system, right? And again, some things that you can do, some very, very simple things. Take a second right now. Even just a couple deep breaths can help, but we're going to go over some more of these things on how to stay on top of this and set up routines to manage this on a daily basis. So go to the description here, click that link, join us if you have not in the community, and there'll be a workshop in there as well going over how to set up systems to regulate your nervous system. I hope you enjoyed and learned something from today's episode of the Looli News. Be sure to join us tomorrow for day number 3. We're going to be talking about hydration because that is, again, another thing that we know a lot of people drink more water. But what does that mean? How does it impact things? And how does not drinking enough water impact us? We're covering it all tomorrow, one step at a time. Today, we're focusing on the nervous system. So thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Looli News, and we'll see you tomorrow.